Today I'm reacting to viral clips about modern dating and gender culture, breaking down some of the most popular claims about men, women, and relationships.
For the first time, possibly in history, women are admitting they want daughters, not sons. Having a son is seen as an extreme burden to women around the world.
Look at the entitlement right out of the gate. The standard? Since when is a human life a consumer product she gets to rate? She's talking about children like they're last season's fashion trend.
You are expected to birth them, educate them, and shield them from conditioning from other boys. All this without acknowledgement. In fact, that very same son may grow up to take his mother's rights away.
This is pure delusion. She's literally prejudging a baby for crimes he hasn't committed. Imagine the mental gymnastics you have to do to look at a newborn and see a political enemy. She's not a mother at that point. She's a radicalized activist who's lost touch with reality.
Women globally are reaching a line of contention, refusing to give birth to life that may become a weapon against them, against other women. This is why movements like 4B exist.
A weapon? Give me a break. A son is a protector, a provider, and a legacy, but only if he has a father in the home and a mother who isn't viewing him as a threat. She's basically admitting she's going to fail as a parent before she even starts. It's a massive cope for her own bitterness.
Women are refusing to birth their own oppressors. In fact, they are liberating themselves from a life of suffering. Sons are no longer the standard. Daughters are.
Translation: she doesn't want to put in the work to raise a man of character. It's easier for her to just call it a burden than to admit she's terrified of the responsibility. High-value women used to take pride in raising sons. Now they just want something easy that fits their aesthetic.
I was a misandrist before I had a baby, okay? I didn't need a reason to respect men.
Alright, pause real quick. Notice how casually she says that. Like it's cute. Yeah, I hated men before, and now I really hate them. Imagine a guy opening a video with, "I was a misogynist before, and now I'm even more confident women are trash." He'd be erased from the internet in about 10 minutes. But when it's aimed at men, it's comedy. That's not wisdom, that's just socially approved hatred.
But after having a baby, you could not pay me money to say that I think men are good at anything.
This is where emotion completely replaces thinking. She's taking one experience, pregnancy, and using it to say men are useless in general. That's not an argument, that's just bitterness with a mic. Pregnancy being hard doesn't magically mean men contribute nothing to the world. That leap makes zero sense, but nobody pushes back because feelings are driving the whole thing.
Okay? Because I spent 9 months cooking this bitch, okay? 9 months throwing up my guts, clocked into work, clocked into my job, showing up 8 a.m., throwing up my guts, building a brain, clocking in, okay? And my back hurts, and my boobs hurt, and my feet hurt, and I can't sleep, and I'm throwing up my guts, and I got acid reflux like a bitch, and everything fucking sucks. I can't open the fridge because the smell in there's rank, and everything's goddamn awful, and I cook her for 9 months, and then I have labor for 36 hours. I push for 4. She's stuck in my cooch for 4 hours. Finally, they pull her out like some sort of miracle. I'm like, where do you even get that thing? And then I have to deal with the healing, and I'm bleeding everywhere all the time, and my boobs are bleeding, and they hurt, and I'm pumping every 2 hours to feed her, and then I'm just out there flapping their dicks around, saying shit like, do women deserve things? Do you deserve anything? What's the last thing you've deserved? You didn't do fucking shit. And here come the men. Oh, well, you need my sperm to have the baby. You didn't do shit. Okay? My husband didn't do shit.
Here's the problem. If men didn't do shit, then fathers don't matter. Child support doesn't matter. Male responsibility doesn't matter. You can't say men are irrelevant and then still expect them to provide, protect, and be accountable. You don't get it both ways. Either men matter, or they don't. Pick one.
Okay? This is like if I showed up with all the ingredients to a cake and I just needed a little bit of flour. And I said, hey, can I have the flour? Can I have some flour? And you said, sure. And then I baked this cake. I frosted this cake. It's an 8-tier wedding, beautiful wedding cake. And then I also had to push it out of my vagina. And a man being like, well, I helped make that. No, you didn't fucking do shit.
This analogy is actually hilarious because it exposes the mindset. She wants to reduce men to a little ingredient, while still expecting that ingredient to pay for the kitchen, the house, the bills, and the lifestyle. If men are just flour, then stop asking flour for money, protection, and commitment. You can't minimize input and maximize obligation without admitting you're exploiting the other side.
And then they'll have the audacity to be like, also, I don't know if you deserve maternity leave. I hope men get lonelier.
And this is where the mask slips. This isn't about equality. This isn't about fairness. This is about punishment. She's openly rooting for men to be isolated and miserable, and then society acts shocked when men check out, stop dating, stop committing, and stop caring. You don't get to cheer for someone's loneliness and then complain about the consequences later.
Well, why do we have the expression, that's a man's job?
Because certain things are a man's job.
Because it's like, why gotta take the trash out if there's a man in the house?
Right.
She's openly saying some things are a man's job while talking about equality in the same breath. So equality apparently starts and ends exactly where inconvenience begins. Heavy lifting, dirty work, risk, that magically stays traditional. Benefits modern, responsibilities old school. That's not equality. That's selective tradition.
So I'm just
Or
saying.
lift heavy things.
Well, right, but it says.
When I'm talking about equal rights, I want equal pay. I want equality. I'm not trying to get. I want to walk the streets and feel safe. That's what I want to do.
Here's the move she's making. She's bundling a bunch of emotional wants together: pay, safety, comfort, and calling that equality. But none of those things exist in a vacuum. Feeling safe doesn't just happen. It's created by policing, enforcement, infrastructure, and yes, overwhelmingly men doing dangerous jobs. You can't demand the outcome while dismissing the responsibility behind it.
But I'm saying, is it fair to say if you want equal privileges, you need equal responsibilities?
No, I want. Why is responsibilities with equality?
Because you gotta
I'm just trying to get equal pay.
Because you gotta take the bad with the good.
Why can't I just have equal pay?
This is the wild part. She's basically asking why responsibility is even part of the conversation. Because that's literally how society works. Every right comes with a cost. Freedom of speech comes with consequences. Money comes with labor. Equality without responsibility isn't equality, it's entitlement. She wants the upside without ever touching the downside. This sentence tells you everything. Extra stuff is code for inconvenience, effort, or risk. She's saying, why can't I just get the reward without changing anything else? That's not how pay works. Pay is tied to output, hours, danger, stress, and responsibility. You don't get paid more just for existing. That logic collapses in every other area of life.
Do you have to take the bad with the good?
No, you do not. We should have equality, period. You see what I mean? You know what I mean?
So you want equality only when it benefits you?
No, I want equality, period. Because why do we have equality? It should be benefiting women because at the end of the day, men have more privilege than women do.
And there it is. Equality in her mind isn't about sameness. It's about advantage. She straight up admits it should benefit women specifically. That's not equality. That's favoritism with better branding. If men truly had all these privileges with none of the downsides, women would be lining up to take the dangerous jobs, the long hours, the high-risk roles. But they don't, and that part always gets ignored.